Brother Abraham, you're out preaching the gospel. Tell the people what's been happening.
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to thank Pastor Rodney and Adonica for the scholarship to go to school. It's really changed my life, and I don't know where I would be without it, because just a year ago, I was in California and I didn't know where I would be going after high school, and I decided to take the scholarship. My mom would always play you on TV, and I would watch you every day. Like I would be finished with my homework, and then I would come downstairs and you were on the TV. I was planning to watch something else, but you were on the TV all the time. So it was just like, we had to watch you, and then I learned about the joy and everything, and it was life-changing after that. But yeah, so fast forward, I came here and I got the scholarship. I didn't know how anything would work out with the admission fee and all that, but everything got paid supernaturally. And so I fast forward again, I'm first year Bible school student here, and my MOH, I think, was water station at first. And
which the MOH means Ministry of Helps, right. How it's been serving, yeah.
And I was doing water station, and I had, I think, 47 souls for my first quarter. But then when I got switched to bus ministry, then my soul count went from 47 to 107 in just one quarter. So yeah. But the quick testimony I was going to share was that there was a guy that I found at a bus stop. I was led by the Holy Spirit to go look for this guy, and because I only had 2 people on my bus, so I was led to go find this man who was sitting by himself, and I went up to him, and as I was talking to him, asking him if he wanted to come to church, I was reminded of the testimony of Pastor Allen when you were looking at the young lady you saved from the lake, and you saw that she was lifeless. That's what it felt like. I was looking in his eyes, and I almost couldn't finish talking to him, because it was like you knew that it was a life or death situation in that moment. So I decided to come over and tell him, and then I waited for an answer, and I almost walked away, but he said yes. He nodded his head and followed me, so he got on the bus. And then fast forward to service, Pastor Jordan was preaching, and he was sharing a really good word, but I was knocked out because he called me out, and I was laughing on the floor half the time. So I didn't catch the message, but I went up there, and during altar call, I went up, and because I really wanted to get my first-time visitor, the guy I got from the bus, I really wanted to get him saved, so I got up real fast when he was doing altar call, and I stood in the aisle, and then without me even having to tell that guy anything, he rose his hand by himself, and then went up to the altar, and he was the only one at the altar that night. It was his night. And
wow.
Then, yeah. And so later that night, I found out on my way to the bus, he was talking to me and the driver, and he said that he was planning to take his life that night, and had I not obeyed the Holy Spirit and went up to him, he probably wouldn't even be here today. So, yeah.
So the Lord leads you to a guy sitting at a bus stop who is contemplating suicide.
Yes, sir.
And because you invited him to church, he rode the bus.
Yes, sir.
He came forward in the altar call to accept Jesus.
The only one there. And then I remember sitting in the service and just looking, like staring at that moment, seeing him sitting in the altar, and then flashing back to when he was standing with me there, and that's all I could see. And I felt like all of heaven was watching, like in that moment when I was asking him that question, like heaven was watching and hell was watching, because he had a decision he could make. So, and they were all watching, and then as soon as I got him, I was like, yes, because I felt the release, and then we headed back to church, and that was it. Yeah.
How old are you?
18, sir.
You're 18 years
Yes,
old. You're the man. I tell you, if I have 1,000 young men like you, we'll shake America to the core. I'm telling you right now. Love you too, buddy. Love you.